Carrying their children and whatever they could fit into a suitcase, these Ukrainians never imagined they would someday be refugees, fleeing war in their homeland and walking across country borders, seeking shelter and safety. The numbers are staggering. The Polish government has estimated over 500,000 Ukrainians have crossed the border into Poland, then boarding buses and trains. And this is an example of where many of those Ukrainian refugees will arrive. The city of Wrocław, around 500 kilometers from the border with Ukraine. They come off the trains in a steady stream all day. These volunteers, Polish volunteers, are here to give them advice, give them SIM cards, food and accommodation. Dazed and tired, frightened and scared. Some have been travelling for days, unsure of their final destination. It's mainly women and children. They told me their husbands and brothers have decided to remain in Ukraine to fight. How long have you been travelling for?
2 days.
2 days?
Today is 3rd days.
Wow, 3 days. How are you feeling?
So long. Travel so hard.
Are some of your family and friends still back in Ukraine?
Yes. Our husbands stay there.
Stay there. He stayed to fight?
Yes.
To fight. The local Catholic Church is here, coordinating the humanitarian response, offering advice, SIM cards for their phones, food, clothing and accommodation. And so many young people are taking time off school and work to volunteer, like Anna.
So as you can see, there is a kind of the big board with the trains coming. So we have just when people, you just have to imagine people getting out of the train after 2-3 days, you know, of kind of a long trip.
And what are the people like when they come here? What state are they in?
They're in shock. And some are still, you know, I'm quite impressed, first of all, with the children. I have to say their majority very, very strong. I don't know how they get it really, but they're super strong. They're not crying. People come in shock, you can clearly see that.
Although living in Poland, Anna is from Ukraine originally, and her parents are still there today.
They're unfortunately in the place where they cannot get out from, because it's Chernihiv, which is on the north, and basically the troops, the Russian troops, you know, they're going kind of through Belarusian border, through the city, so the city is kind of half destroyed, being quite kind of elderly people, right? They went through the fear to the point where they start to be really angry, you know, when they even want to stay there and to help as much as they can, you know, to our heroic army.
Hundreds of kilometers away, in another train station close to the border, the situation is much the same. A crowded arrivals hall of people looking for help. Outside on the platform, waiting to board another train, is Angela.
I live outside the Kiev, like 15 kilometers, so around our village was a lot of tanks, and I hear every day the bombing.
Hearing the Russian army was advancing closer to Kiev, she decided to flee.
And I came from yesterday 9 and just arrived a few hours back.
Are your family with you, or are they still back in Ukraine?
No, my mother in Ukraine and my son live in Poland, in Warsaw.
And what will your mother do?
She told me that I'm leaving, and she's told that I will be here because I live my life, and if something happens, so save yourself and your son.
She couldn't leave her home country.
No, she couldn't leave
What age
because
is
she's
she?
very far from Kiev, from Tres. It's like around 300 kilometers. It's unbelievable to come.
What do you think will happen to Ukraine, to your home country?
We will survive, and I hope that our victory day is near. I hope so. Pray for Ukraine, please. It's really dangerous. Very, 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 very bad.
Angela's story is like so many others. Split families and uncertainty about what the future will be. In a car park close by, Caritas has set up a tent, helping refugee families get to where they need to go by linking them with locals who are willing to drive them.
I mean, I've met people today who could barely speak, people who were both smiling and crying. I mean, young children, very tired, young children running and playing. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of children. They need food and they need a place to get warm because they spend hours waiting on the border, very often like the whole night, and it's really cold. It's like -degrees and everyone's freezing. And
one Polish man pulls up just as we're filming, and a young Ukrainian family gets into his car.
I'm taking these people from the border and driving with them to Poznań. They got some friends there, so we are leaving them. They are going to different localization, and we are coming back tomorrow again.
How long is the drive there?
7 hours. Yeah.
And you're a local man, you're just volunteering?
Yes, that's just, I feel that I have to do this for these people, and of course we are also afraid that Putin will not stop there and he can come here, so we have to do everything to help these people and win this fight, because this is also our war.
What is your first impression of the family you've met?
Today they are really happy. Yeah, yesterday people was very afraid. They even didn't want us go to the toilet.
Hello,
Hello,
how are you?
I'm fine.
Oh, you speak English?
So.
So, a little bit. So you came from Ukraine?
Yes.
Today?
Da.
This response by the Polish people is something that we have witnessed in the various cities we visited. And late that night, in freezing cold temperatures at the border with Ukraine, people continue to walk across with no signs yet of the situation getting any better. As the crisis in Ukraine worsens day by day, the refugees who you can see here behind me coming across the border into Poland, they're uncertain of what the next step in their life will be, or what kind of Ukraine they will be returning home to when the day comes they do get to go home. Until then, they're relying on the Polish people for their help and their hospitality. In Poland, on the Ukrainian border, Colm Flynn, EWTN News in Depth.